We've got updated information on what this year's winter could look like. Our disturbance moving into the western Atlantic may end up having an impact on the states, and we're continuing to see a cold outlook for much of the lower 48. It's August 23rd, 2025. Let's get into the updates. Beginning with the latest ENSO forecast update. These charts may look boring to you, but they give us a lot of information on what our winter could look like. The most notable change on here from July's forecast being the confidence in the La Nina as we move into the winter months. And this continues to look like it will be a weak La Nina. There's actually quite a bit of difference between a weak and a strong one. This map right here is showing our temperature anomalies long-term average with our weak La Nina events. And look at all of this below average air during these winters, especially up here through portions of the northern plains and upper Midwest. Portions of the northern plains and upper Midwest typically do see a little bit more precipitation during a weak La Nina event. And with that below average air, most of this precipitation is in the form of snow. We also typically see above average precipitation through portions of the Southeast and Ohio Valley and the Pacific Northwest, although in my winter forecast I actually said I thought they'd get below average precipitation this year, and that's because you have to take into account a lot of things, not just the ENSO forecast, although these ENSO trends can tell us a lot. I find these composites very interesting as well. Here's what we typically see during a weak La Nina if you average it out, but this map on the right here shows us the frequency or confidence in that type of outlook. And we see a lot of these areas up here in that 60 to 80% frequency range, meaning the confidence in this cooler than average air this winter is actually pretty high. So all in all, it does look like we have a cooler trend ahead of us for this winter. Here we go. The tropics are still buzzing. This storm up here to the north actually has a 100% chance of cyclone formation within the next 2 days. But it's likely to be a fish storm. And our disturbance down to the south here moving into the western Atlantic now has a 20% chance for cyclone formation within the next 7 days. We do have a lot of dry air out ahead of it, and weaker systems tend to be affected more by that dry air. There is expected to be some wind shear out ahead of it too here in the eastern Caribbean. But if this system can make it through that dry air and wind shear and hold itself together, it likely will end up having some sort of impact on the states, whether that's a landfalling tropical storm or hurricane, or just a post-tropical depression bringing a lot of rainfall into the states. It's a pretty quiet day for severe weather today, other than eastern Colorado, southeastern Wyoming, and northeastern New Mexico do have a small risk for some damaging wind and hail. And here's our 6 to 10 day temperature forecast from the Climate Prediction Center, and we are continuing to see a cool trend for much of the states, other than for portions of the Northwest up here, obviously, and then southern Texas and Florida, you're likely to still stay pretty warm. I appreciate you guys watching this video. If you like this type of content, feel free to throw me a follow or sub. I make posts like this every day, and I stream every day as well to try and answer all your questions. I'll see you in the next video.